Hey, it's Wilfur. So I made a video on the Hasan Piker situation where he's been electrocuting his dog to make her sit still as a background prop during his 8-hour-long live streams. Allegedly, because you gotta say that nowadays. And of course, his fans showed up in my comment section. But if y'all thought you can hurt my feelings, you must not have been around this channel at all. So as always, let's make some content. Starting with Shay H1411, who says, "You clowns actually think a dog is being shocked and calmly walks into its place with no reaction?" Facepalm emoji. Actually, there's multiple studies on the topic that completely invalidate your thesis. I'm gonna read this to you because I know you probably won't take my word for it. Training dogs with help of the shock collar. Short and long-term behavioral effects. Physical reactions included lowering of body posture, high-pitched yelps, barks and squeals, avoidance, and so on. High-pitched yelps, huh? I wonder where else we've seen that.
Just stop.
Here's the interesting part, and I quote, "Most of these immediate reactions lasted only a fraction of a second," end quote. So it's not like they make a whole scene out of it, they just react to the shock instinctively for a split second, but then they do show subtle, continuous signs of stress despite following the owner's commands. The study also mentions, and I quote, "The conclusions therefore are that being trained is stressful for the dogs, that receiving shocks is a painful experience to dogs, and that they evidently have learned that the presence of their owner or his commands announces reception of shocks. So they will do what is commanded of them. They will not show any overt signs of disobedience, but internally their cortisol levels will increase significantly, which reduces their quality of life, just so that some asshole can look good with a pretty dog in the background for hours on end." Larson1298 says, "There is no evidence it's a shock collar. It's just as likely it's a vibration collar like he presented. Actually, there's more evidence it's a vibrator than shock, since we only now see people screech about it, and Kaya has been with us for years. So let me put it another way. Why should we care about your political disposition or attempt at slander on Hasan? Why do you matter? I don't. I'm like the boogeyman in your nightmares. I only matter insofar as you give me your attention. Just like any other content creator, by the way. Just like Hasan Piker. If you think Hasan Piker matters just because he has a large platform, you're delusional. And saying that Kaya has been with us for years? Who is us? You're way deep into this parasocial relationship with Hasan, sorry to break it to you, but the dog has no idea who you are." Messy Mason asks, "Rents due?" Yes. Someone by the username Panananana commented that saying because he's a socialist, therefore he's not allowed to have a mansion is so idiotic. And maybe to some it sounds idiotic. I don't mind if that's what you think, but my point is that the very economic model that he promotes would not allow him to hold on to the wealth that he's accumulated. And what's the most ironic part of this is that the wealth wasn't built through entrepreneurship or from something that he built himself, but through lecturing about those very same principles. It's a self-defeating loop, and it just reeks of hypocrisy. If you can't see that for yourself, then I don't know, enjoy his content. That guy Thomas says, "Not another washed right-wing grifter channel, multiple crying emojis." Someone replies under him, "Hey, I'm noticing how every comment that even vaguely seems to point out the obvious right-wing grift happening here gets absolutely flooded with an overwhelming amount of right-wing comments, and I honestly can't tell if this channel is just botted or it's genuinely just that easy to do a right-wing grift in today's climate, which I hope isn't true, cause that's just really depressing. How about what you guys label as right-wing grifting is just what used to be called common sense? Maybe? So in the original video, I pointed out the hypocrisy of leftists bringing up Palestine to deflect from what Hasan is doing to his dog, and Mr. Random 2484 says, "Entitled and political causes? My guy, this is not about politics, it's about people dying every day right damn now, and your priority is to dismiss this thing with 'I don't have to be an ally to every noble cause'? Really? Just imagine someone saying publicly, 'I don't have to be an ally to trans issues', or something similar." Have you seen any of my recent videos? Because it sounds like you're new around here. He continues, "It's nowhere near as catastrophic as the genocide, yet the backlash from saying a similar thing would be massive. Oh, trust me, I know." I wouldn't have cared about your opinion on the matter, but to shove it like that and to include it in this video that is about the dog, it's just uncalled for. Okay, go tell that to Valkyrie, which is the clip that I was commenting on, by the way.
The genocide and stuff.
Little Irish 7785 says, "When did you become a loser? Oh no, you found my only weakness, being called a Loser. Crackmore81 says, and there is no doubt you would have made a video praising these disgusting actions if it was Andrew Tate or J.K. Rowling doing them. Cozy Goose 1813 replies, he has said stuff against Andrew Tate. You are just defending a leftist. And this is why I'm genuinely baffled by how confidently these people are commenting without doing any research whatsoever. It doesn't even register to them that there are people out there capable of nuanced critical thinking. They just put whoever they don't like in a box. Oh, you're just right-wing. Oh, you must like Andrew Tate. You would definitely support a so-called right-wing person if they did what my favorite leftist influencer does. It perfectly shows how deeply they've been conditioned to believe whatever their echo chamber feeds them. And speaking of nuance, I never said what my opinion is on the whole genocide thing. You just assumed you knew what I think based on the label that you decided to put on me. All I said is that leftists use the genocide argument to help their own motives, which is true. But in itself, I think it's an insanely complicated topic, and I'm not going to speak on something that I don't fully grasp myself. I only mentioned it because Valkyrae and other high horse creators conveniently use it to defend Hasan's shenanigans. CBlessRL says, your fall-off needs to be studied. Go ahead and study it then. You can do whatever you want. I'm just doing my thing over here. And by the way, there is a pretty good video that was made on my so-called fall-off by YouTuber Fox Akimbo. I'm gonna link it in the description. I wanted to give a shout out to him because he made a pretty unbiased presentation of it. The Turkish fan says, I swear you used to just speak about YouTube drama. Now this is a whole new level, lol. And somebody replies to him saying, new level? Because he's now covering Twitch drama? Alex DLC says, a dog would never shriek in pain like that just from a vibration. And then Ghost HN21H replies, I promise you they can. My dog has yelped from me grabbing his butt during a game we play. Sometimes dogs yelp more out of being startled than from pain, and some dogs are more susceptible to it than others. I'm not sure I want to ask what kind of games you're playing with that dog of yours. The Real Space Ferret says, unsubscription speedrun. This is straight up full of malicious misinformation. I'm not sure what exactly was the misinformation. The man was caught in 4K trying to hide the remote to the collar after saying that he was only reaching for his frickin' Zintins. Even if you're gonna bend over backwards for this guy, that is objectively a lie. Hasan Piker treats his audience like they're morons, and by the looks of it, they don't really prove him wrong either. And speaking of unsubscribing, let's check the sub count again. 2,698,268. Well, there goes another one, that's 267. And we're on a mission here to shed away all of the brain rot that has infested the channel throughout the years. Actually, you know what's exciting about this whole thing? We're gonna reach 1 million subscribers, guys! Except backwards. I don't get why people still announce that they're unsubscribing like that's some kind of a slam dunk. If you have that type of mentality, that is exactly what I want you to do. Now, on the flip side, I also wanted to thank all of these people for donating to the channel. Random Guy FN8JK, Diego Garcia 470, Biozuka 1345, Sloth 4844, Apocalyptic Plays, Edgar Allan Poe 825. Sorry if I missed any, but just know that I appreciate the support. That is all for this video. See ya!